Good morning, dear students. Welcome back to yet another online session. So, today we are going to deal with the civics chapter, chapter 2, the Union Executive, President and Vice President. We all know that the executive power of the Indian Union is actually vested in the hands of the President. President is the most powerful, dignity or dignified personality that we see in our union executive. Okay, he is considered as the head of the state and the supreme commander of all the defense forces of India. We know that in India we have army, navy and military. So president is the head of the state and he is the supreme commander of all the three defense systems. Okay, then the president exercises his power on the advice of the prime minister and also the council of ministers. You know, when the prime minister is elected and he becomes in the election, and after that he becomes a prime minister, under him there will be a group of members who are called the council of members, and all this prime minister and the council of ministers together they form a cabinet. Okay, so whatever decisions regarding the constitution, regarding the new policies, laws, amendments, everything will be taken under with the help of this cabinet meeting. Whenever they conduct the meeting, they will be discussing on it, and they will be finally coming to one conclusion, one decision. Okay, now this decision was actually informed to the president, and prime minister gives necessary advices to the president regarding the matters and why such decisions were taken, on what basis, and it should be implemented to what extent, to how many people, or like for what's the time period, everything. It is what actually advises by the prime minister to the president, and without president's consent, prime minister also cannot put this into practice. Okay, if the prime minister is initiating certain policies, he should seek the president's content there. Okay, consent. Okay, so the constitution provides that there shall be a council of ministers with the prime minister at the head, to aid means to help and advise the president in exercising his or her functions. Okay, according to the 42nd amendment act, it is necessary of the president to exercise his functions in accordance with the advice of the Council of Ministers, and this is accepted by the Indian Constitution. Okay, so let us see what are the basic qualifications for a president, or how the president is being elected. So a person shall be eligible for election for the post of president if only, first and foremost, he should be a citizen of India. Then should have completed the age of 35 years. Second and third is that he should be qualified for election as a member of the Lok Sabha. So these are the three basic categories that are required to keep in mind when a person stands for the post of presidentship of the country or the India. Okay, first one is he should be a citizen of India. Second is that he should have completed at least 35 years of his age, and third, that is, he should be qualified for election as a member of the Lok Sabha. Now, another criteria is that as a person shall not be eligible for the election of the president if he holds any other office of profit under the government of India, or any other authority subject to the control of any of the so-called governments. Okay, then, so however a person is not deemed to hold an office of profit by reason only that he is a president or vice president or a minister, either for the union or for any state. Okay, so if the person they go with these two eligible criterias, then again the person is not eligible to become the president. I hope you got it. Okay, so a person who holds or who was held the office as the president shall be also eligible for the re-election. You remember that Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, when he became the president for first time, after that, after his tenure duration was completed, later he became again, with the re-election, he became the president once again of our country. Okay, So, who is the present president of our country right now? Ramnath Kovind. Okay, he is the present president of our country. And who is the first president of our country? Find out. Okay, so though now let us discuss what are the important compositions of the electoral college, or how this, how many members will be there in this electoral board to elect the president, and what type of election the president actually undergoes. The president is elected indirectly by the members of the electoral college. Now what do you mean by electoral college here? Electoral college refers to that group of um people who are eligible to vote for the president. Okay, so the elected members of both the houses. Now electoral college includes the elected members of both the houses of the parliament, that is Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. The elected members of the legislative assembly of the states, including national capital territory of Delhi and the Union Territory of Puducherry. Okay, so National Capital Territory, now it's State of Delhi, and the Union Territory of Puducherry. Nominated members of Rajya Sabha and state assemblies are not eligible to be included in the electoral college. Okay, so nominated members of Rajya Sabha and the state assembly nominated members are not eligible to be included in the electoral college. The president candidate will have to be proposed by minimum 50 members of the electoral college. That is, electoral college means it includes the MPs and the MLAs. MPs means member of parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and MLAs legislative assembly ministers. Okay, so member of legislative assemblies. Now for the presidential candidate, suppose if I am standing as the president of the country, okay, so there should be minimum 50 members from this electoral group who will be proposing my name for being eligible candidate for the sake of the presidentship. Okay, and it should be again seconded by another 50 members. Okay, 50 members should propose my name, plus another 50 members should also second it, means support, that they are having, they are agreeing with this, they don't have any kind of disagreement. Okay, earlier the requirement was 10 proposers and 10 seconders. So in before time, there was an this was a procedure they used to follow, that they used to have 10 proposers and 10 seconders, but now it has made into 50 proposers and 50 seconders. Okay, so this was increased by an ordinance promulgated in June 1997, that became an act of parliament on August 29, 1997. And this ordinance also raised the security deposit of a candidate for the presidential election from rupees 2,500 to rupees 15,000 in 1997. Okay, earlier, that is before 1997, it was like 10 proposers and 10 seconders were there, and the person who is standing as a candidate should pay as a fee security deposit of rupees only 2,500. But after 1997, when this act was renewed and new ordinance was passed, at the time this was made into 50 proposers, 50 seconders, and the amount of the security deposit is also increased from 2,500 rupees to 15,000. Okay, so the election of the president is held in accordance with the system of proportion representation, that is by means of single transferable vote, and voting at such an election is yet by secret ballot. Okay, so it's not like the common elections, direct elections that we conduct, where ballot box is kept and everyone will come and vote in front of them, and everyone will be coming to know that to which particular ballot you are going to put the voting, etc. Okay, but this here, if for the sake of the president's voting, there will be a kind of secret voting, secret ballot will be there, and the voting system is again single transferable vote. That means only one vote, one person can be casted. So now what is the manner of the election? So let us see that there is a uniformity in the scale of representation of the different states as far as possible. Every elected member of the legislative assembly of the state has many voters, as there are multiples of the thousands in the quotient obtained by dividing the population of the state by the total number of the elected members of the assembly. The voting power of an elected member of a Vidhan Sabha is calculated according to the formula, that is total population of the state divided by number of the elected members multiplied by 1000 of the Vidhan Sabha, elected members of the Vidhan Sabha into 1000. That is, the illustration will help to make the process more clear. So this is a way this is a composition, or this is a manner of um, electing the members of the legislative assembly, okay, of the state. Now, what do you mean by this single transferable vote system? Under the single transferable vote system, all candidates are listed and the elector gives them numbers according to their preference. In other words, the voters mark as many preferences 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. on the ballot paper as they are candidates. Once the votes are cast, the first preference votes are counted. If any candidate gets an absolute majority more than 50% of the votes, he is declared as elected. Okay, so this is called the single transferable vote. If no candidate is able to get an absolute majority, then what happens? In the first preference votes, then the candidate who has secured the least vote is eliminated and his second preference voters are taken into consideration. Okay, so now this process of elimination continues until the candidate gets an absolute majority and he is declared as an elected person. Now, the 29th Constitution Amendment Act of 1975 and the 44th Constitution Amendment Act of 1978 lay down that any dispute over the election of the president shall be decided by the Supreme Court of India. Okay, so this is what is mean by the single transferable vote, and this is what is the manner of the election of the president. Okay, so I hope that you understood this much part. Along with the video, please read your textbook for your better understanding. So thank you. Be safe and secure at your home. Have a wonderful time.